The movement of dorsiflexion is primarily performed by a collection of three muscles that are referred to as the anterior compartment of the lower leg. Specifically, those muscles are tibialis anterior, extensor digitorum longus, and extensor hallucis longus. Outside of that, there is a fourth sort of minor contributor to dorsiflexion. Some people do possess this muscle, some people do not. Its name is peroneus tertius or fibularis tertius. So we will talk about that fourth muscle as well. But from a treatment perspective, if our assessment draws us towards the dorsiflexors of the ankle, these three muscles just lateral to the tibial shaft are our primary targets. The first and most powerful dorsiflexor of the ankle is a muscle by the name of tibialis anterior. In order to trace or outline this muscle, we have to begin with the lateral condyle of the tibia and that sheet in between these two bones called the interosseous membrane. So this is the starting point for tibialis anterior, and as it travels down underneath that extensor retinaculum of the ankle, it's going to loop just inside the medial arch to the base of the first metatarsal. Right? So here's our first metatarsal here, the base of the first metatarsal, and it's really going to take a nice hug into that medial cuneiform. Right? So this sort of trajectory really puts this muscle in position to pull into dorsiflexion. As you can see by the slackening of the tape here, you'll see that this muscle is a strong contributor to dorsiflexion of the ankle. Our second muscle, which would be found just deep or underneath the tibialis anterior, is a muscle by the name of extensor digitorum longus. This muscle takes its origin also on the tibial shaft and the interosseous membrane, but the fibular shaft as well. So really all three structures of the lower leg. My tape really isn't wide enough to grab all three structures, but you get the idea. It will travel underneath that extensor retinaculum, but this time it's going to take a straight shot to the four lateral toes, the phalanges of the second, third, fourth, and fifth digits. And again, passing anterior to that tibiotalar joint, it is really able to contribute to dorsiflexion of the ankle when the tissue shortens. The third and last sort of big contributor to dorsiflexion is a muscle called extensor hallucis longus. Right? The word hallucis draws us directly to the big toe, the hallux it's called. So anterior, this is a shorter muscle than our previous two. Anterior fibular shaft, distal anterior fibular shaft, passing underneath that retinaculum, crossing the foot to the phalanges of the first digit or great toe. And again, when this muscle shortens, it is able to contribute to dorsiflexion of the ankle. So, tibialis anterior, extensor digitorum longus, and extensor hallucis longus are compartmentally our three major contributors to dorsiflexion of the ankle. Peroneus tertius, or fibularis tertius, that is now being called very commonly, also makes its origin on that anterior fibular shaft. Some texts may just have it interdigitating with extensor hallucis longus, and it makes its trajectory right to the base of the fifth metatarsal, so on the opposite side of the foot, but still in a pretty good position to perform dorsiflexion of the ankle. This muscle is very small. It doesn't exhibit the look of a muscle that would contribute greatly to dorsiflexion, but it does, in cases where it exists in a body, harbor trigger points and contribute to limitations in movement. So definitely worth our focus and attention in cases where we are specifically trying to target the dorsiflexors of the ankle. So again, your big three targets: tibialis anterior, originating on the lateral condyle of the tibia and interosseous membrane, inserting on the base of the first metatarsal and medial cuneiform. Second, extensor digitorum longus, just deep to tibialis anterior, also on the tibia and interosseous membrane, as well as the fibular shaft, so all three lower leg structures traveling down and inserting on the phalanges of the lateral four toes. And the third, extensor hallucis longus, originating on the distal portion of the fibular shaft, traveling across the foot to the phalanges of the first digit or great toe, our third contributor to dorsiflexion. Peroneus tertius is our fourth minor contributor, but this group as a whole, this space lateral to the tibia and medial to the fibular shaft, is our big target area or anterior compartment for any assessments that draw us towards the dorsiflexors of the ankle or the tibiotalar joint.